Well, we heard about the 7 plot types and the 12 archetypes. Now let us break it down. Once we start breaking everything down into smaller parts, we will understand how a story is built. Let's first take the hero's journey. But it is now said in terms of the business context. Remember, any advertisement is nothing but business. Advertisements has to bring us sales. Thereby, it is a business context. Well, have you ever wondered why some brand stories stay with us while others disappear? The moment the ad is over, we forget it. This is because great brands don't sell products. They actually tell stories. And the most powerful story framework ever discovered came from the writer Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell said something very truly important. Today, when we are exploring the hero's journey and how businesses, leaders, and brands use this framework to inspire action, loyalty, and belief, you will understand how important this framework is. But before that, let us understand who is Joseph Campbell actually. Joseph Campbell was a pioneering mythologist who discovered that stories across cultures follow an universal pattern called the hero's journey. His work explains why certain stories in the movies or in the ads and finally in the brands resonate so deeply with the human mind, the human psyche. Imagine if all human stories, right from Ramayana to Star Wars, from Krishna to Harry Potter, shared a single secret blueprint. What could that be? That discovery came from that one gentleman, Joseph Campbell. He spent his entire life studying stories from every corner of the world. India, Greece, Japan, Africa, Native American tribes, everywhere. And in that lifelong exploration, he noticed something remarkable. All heroes, whether it is Ramayana or Mahabharata, go through the same emotional journey, including me and you. He called it the mono myth or the hero's journey. A path where an ordinary person is called to adventure, guided by mentors, tested by challenges, transformed by struggle, and returns home changed. This is what he said. And today, this ancient storytelling pattern powers some of the most successful brands in the world. This ancient storytelling pattern powers some of the most beautiful stories that the brands have given to us across the world. All of us love Nike. Nike tells the story of that everyday athlete who overcomes self-doubt. All their campaigns are about that. Apple invites us to challenge the status quo and tells us, think different. Remember Airbnb? Airbnb asks us to belong anywhere through founders who struggle and find innovative methodologies. Let me use this framework in some of Indian ads. Tanishq, remarriage ad.
ओके दिया।
आपसे डैडी बुलाओ।
A wedding to remember. Tanishq.
A woman hesitates to enter a new chapter, but her daughter, the young little daughter, becomes the mentor. She steps into a new world with acceptance. This mirrors the transformation arc which Campbell spoke about. Remember paper boat? We all love drinking paper boat.
चली बैलगाड़ी तो बस्ता चला, चली मेरी तख्ती किताबें चली। भरी गोदी से भी भली लगती थी वो माँ के दुपट्टे में साबुन की खुशबू। जरा सा छुआ और शर्माई पत्ती, रगड़ना रबड़ और फिर सूंघना। खुद ही अपने चेहरे पे रंग लेना होली और वो पतंग लूटने के लिए दौड़ना। बड़ी देर मुंह खोले भीगते रहे कि बारिश की बूंद आके मुंह में गिरे। गिरा नाक में एक मोटा सा तुबका, लगी छींक ऐसी कि होश उड़ गए। टका पाई पैसे और धीले थे, छोटी उम्र बड़े फैसले थे। उचक लेना और रेडियो को उठाकर चली आई बॉक्स को लेटर खिलाकर। बड़े हो गए जब बड़ों ने कहा ये छोटा है अंदर उतर जाएगा। बचपन की यादों को फिर से बहाओ, बड़ी चटपटी है ये फिर से पिलाओ।
Paper boat, drinks and memories.
Paper boat brings in childhood nostalgia stories. The ordinary world is stressful adult life, but the call to adventure is a memory trigger. The return is an emotional relief through a drink. A simple product, but a mythic emotional journey. The Amul girl that we see everywhere, even on the hoardings.
ये पतली खाने में लाए मस्ती, you lick your lips with fingertips, Amul it makes you hungry. जब तरीक dana din tarik dana dik tak tak. Utterly, yeah, utterly, it goes so great with food. Makes every bite a great delight. Amul hai very good. Mind it. Utterly, yeah, utterly, it makes you really drool. Utterly, yeah, utterly, delicious hai ye Amul.
The relatable hero, she faces everyday villains. Whether it is inflation, politics, cricket, she triumphs everything with wit and humor. Remember, she is the personality for Amul. This is the trickster hero. With a slapshot humor, she tells everything. A pattern again from Campbell. Apple India campaigns.
The Apple A19 Pro chip is vapor cooled because when you run cool, you can push your limits and juggle over 35 trillion complex tasks a second. Imagine if we were that powerful.
Every iPhone launch mirrors the hero's journey. We faced barriers, we pushed boundaries, overcame challenges. Therefore, here's a product that transforms your world, says Apple. And we fall in love with the iPhones. Classic Campbell narrative structure. Let's now look it into four major parts. The hero Campbell believed that across cultures, across centuries, they follow that emotional arc. It's an universal pattern of transformation. This journey isn't just for mythological characters like Rama, Arjuna, Luke Skywalker or Harry Potter, but it is the backbone of some of the most successful brand campaigns made in India and around the world. Because in business, the customer is the hero, the brand is the guide, and the product is the tool that helps the hero transform. So you see how it is enmeshed. The customer, the brand, and the product. In an ordinary world, every story begins. The state before transformation. Every story has something to say. We need to find that. In business, this is your customer's current pain. We have to find that pain point. For example, a student is struggling with productivity, or a family is navigating busy routines, or a young entrepreneur is unsure about his future. Brands that describe this uncertain world clearly and make these heroes feel seen and heard become relatable to us. Then there is this call to adventure part of it. A moment when everything suddenly changes. In our ads, there is that moment when the transformation happens. There is this invitation of the story, the possibility in your business. This possibility is the value proposition of your business. It is the spark of hope. For example, when a skincare brand says, "What if your skin could heal naturally?" Wow! Or a fintech app that we use every day says, "What if money could become stress-free?" Look at the way messages are being made into stories for brands. But every hero hesitates. The hero is the protagonist. Remember, the customer. He has doubts. He resists. because change is always fearsome. We are afraid of changes. But in business, this is where customer objections appear. Objections about price, time, or trust, which is very normal and which is very essential. The ads that solve this become relatable. We can also bring in a mentor into the ad. Mentors don't fight battles for the hero. Rather, they equip them. In business, the brand becomes the mentor. The brand mentors through demonstration, credibility, social proof, empathy, and expertise. Think of Nike. How does Nike tell? Nike tells, you can do it, we will help. So Nike becomes the mentor for all of us to become athletes. Or think of Amul, very playful, very reassuring, and it is timeless for all Amul products, right from milk to butter to cheese to ice creams. Then, in the storytelling, there is a point where we need to cross the threshold. Threshold means it is the moment of decision making. The hero now steps into a new world. If I translate it into business, what is this? This is the moment when the customer does the first purchase or the first registration or the first commitment. What has happened? The emotion of the customer has shifted from doubt to action. Now that he has taken an action that he is going to buy this brand, he is going to test them. He is going to ask people. He is going to ask his allies about the product. Remember, real change is very hard. This is where resistance, competition, and trials appear. How does it look in business actually? Learning to use the product. Comparing options. Should I buy Apple? Should I buy Samsung? Encountering setbacks. Oh, I have bought a new car, but it's not working as well as I wanted. Brands shall win when they stay with the customer at this point. Through guided onboarding, wonderful customer support, understanding the entire customer relationship management. And in the story, there is a low point also. Every hero has to reach a breaking point. Dark night of the soul. That time when we really don't know what I have to do. This is where transformation stops. But this is also the point where breakthrough begins. Remember, whenever we stop at some place, some new thing will begin. In business, this can be said as when customers feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or are ready to give up a brand. Great brands anticipate this moment and they come back with a reassurance telling that you are close, don't quit. Remember the Bonvita ads. The child is struggling to win and the mother is standing by the child to tell you can win. And when the transformation actually happens, there is a wonderful revelation in the brand story. Something shifts. The hero sees a new truth, right, in the story. And in business, this is the customer experience value, the aha moment. Transformation done and final. This is the reason they stay back and they become brand loyal. Keep coming back to buy the same brand again and again. So transformation is complete. Behavioral change is complete and the brand has won a new customer. How do I then give the reward? Here the hero gains new abilities, new insights or a new confidence. In business terms, it is pure customer satisfaction, the sense of empowerment. Let's say you buy a new iPhone, the latest one, and you feel in your hand the power. The return with the elixir. What does the word elixir mean? Elixir means euphoria, happiness. Finally, when the hero returns to the ordinary world, but is a changed person. For brands, this is the moment of customer advocacy. What does it mean? Now that I have become a loyal customer, I start recommending. I become a brand ambassador. Word of the mouth, because the brand didn't just sell something. It helped the customer grow in terms of dignity, in terms of respect, in terms of self-image. So dear learners, the hero's journey isn't a storytelling technique. It is a transformation map, a blueprint for how people change and how brands can help people or customers change. When businesses adopt this kind of a model, they are not just creating advertisements, but they are creating legions. And we have many of them. Maggie is one of the legions. Maggie changed our breakfasting pattern. Red Bull changed our energy drink pattern. Coca-Cola changed our home environment. Amul changed the way we treat milk products. Now to think of all these 4 brands, they have been telling us stories and stories and stories with different contexts, whether it is Amul, whether it is Coca-Cola, whether it is Nike. Thereby, these brands have become legions across the globe. That's the power of the hero's journey, which Campbell said to us, and we must put this into practice. I shall be giving you some exercises in your class, and I would love to see how you take on to these exercises till we meet in the next video.